name is Bernie Gonzalez, and in these videos, I like to share some of the comics, TV shows, movies, art books that have influenced me, that have influenced my artwork. And this one is a bit of a trip down a memory lane, a little bit of nostalgia, because I'm talking about Garbage Pail Kids. And instead of going through some of the amazing cards individually, which I certainly had as a kid, Abrams Comics Art publisher was amazing enough to actually release a 224-page collection released in April of 2022 that collects 206 Garbage Pail Kids cards that were released in series 1 through 5, originally by Topps, back in 1985. And I remember when these cards were first released, I had, I couldn't even tell you how many lunchroom trades in school, trying to get cards that I didn't have, trying to get rid of doubles, trying to convince my parents to buy me a pack at a checkout at a Venture, a Zayre, a Kmart. And I can tell you that not every parent appreciated Garbage Pail Kids. They became contraband at schools, usually confiscated by teachers if they saw any eager kids oogling at the cards during class, trying to hide them. So this collection, this book, is amazing because, one, it has so many cards in good quality, and that's what we're going to go through. We're going to flip through this because it's just going to be an amazing trip down memory lane. So if you're not familiar with Garbage Pail Kids, at the time they were seen as grotesque and poor taste, subversive in the humor and the artwork, and I don't know, they were certainly counterculture, considering they were based on something that was very much embraced by culture, and that was the Cabbage Patch Kids. Those dolls were legendary in the 80s, in the early 80s. I remember going to a few Toys R Us, Sears on Christmas with my dad, my uncle, who were hunting for Cabbage Patch Kids for some of my cousins. Not for me, but I remember the lines, the riots, and those things were in the news. People literally fighting for Cabbage Patch Kids because they were in such big demand and there was not a lot of supply. So while they didn't do anything for me, the cards, the Garbage Pail Kid cards, I loved them. And in this book, collects series 1 through 5, 85 through 86, again, 200 some cards. And you get a bit of a history, a bit of an introduction on the cards, and then you get right into series 1 that was released in 1985. I didn't know that they were a spin-off from a card series actually called Wacky Packages that were also produced by Topps. Wacky Packages was released in the late 1960s through, I think it was the mid 70s. Similar format to Garbage Pail Kids, since they were also sticker cards, and the gimmick was parodying popular products. So like Ritz was Rats, Morton Salt was Moron Salt, Captain Crunch was Captain Crud, and with the popularity of Cabbage Patch Kids, Topps failed to get the license to make a Cabbage Patch Kids dolls card trading card set. So instead, they decided to make fun of the Cabbage Patch Kids. But instead of doing it through Wacky Packages, Topps decided to make their own series. And you get this amazing card set. And some of these, if you're not familiar with them, may gross you out, may look amazing. The artwork by the underground artist that contributed to the series, primarily artist Art Spiegelman. He got Garbage Pail Kids going along with other artists like Tom Bunk, Jay Lynch, James Warhala. They all painted the Garbage Pail Kids series cards. And actually, Art Spiegelman, he did 40 paintings in 2 months, I read, to get the card set going. And ultimately, he did over 500 of the 800 Garbage Pail Kids cards. Kind of flip through some of these. And what you see here with the cards is that each card had a variant. So you had the regular card, good old Upchuck here, but then you also had a secondary card, same artwork, but different name, Heavin' Steven. Oh, love that. And the colors on some of these, amazing. I mean, look at that. That just looks like right out of an EC Comics cover, something out of Tales of the Crypt. And some of these, again, were subversive. Here's a classic, Atom Bomb. Atom Bomb, Nasty Nick, and Schizo Fran are some of the actual rarest Garbage Pail Kid cards out there today. I haven't really dug into buying any of the originals, but after seeing this book, I might dabble into it. There's always a few that just struck a chord with me. Look at this, Itchy Richie, love it. And again, some of the names were, they weren't phoning it in. Bug the Bird, that's still classic. Potty Scotty, look at that. Little nod to R2D2 there with Ash Can Andy. Just amazing. So there were a total of 15 total series that were made. I did read that there was a 16th unpublished series, and the 15 and 16 series, 15 to 16 series were released through 1988. There were more series in 2003 through 2013, I think I read. And this book collects the cards from series 1 through 5, which is 85 through 86. And the tone for all of these, I mean, look at that. Just amazing artwork there. And even this, New Wave Dave, they didn't phone it onto graffiti, made it look realistic. You know, this could be, it's certainly a joke, but they took it seriously. They took the artwork seriously. Love it. The tone was parody. It was gross, trashy, satirical, shock value, a little bit of Conan there as well. It was odd. It was humorous. It was very zit covered, subversive. It was colorful, slimy, sticky. It was ridiculous. It was glorious. It was creepy. Certainly memorable. Certainly nostalgic. And with each of these packs, these wax packs, you would get 5 of these cards and then a piece of stick of chewing gum. And it's kind of neat because towards the back, you can see the back cover. They made it look like the broken piece of gum that would come in it. And sometimes if the gum was old, that's what you were stuck with, was a few pieces of just this cracked, chalky gum that wasn't necessarily fun. But I'm sure I chewed quite a few of those of my fair share. So now going into Series 2, Leaky Lindsay, oh man. Rappin' Ron, little jab at Ronald Reagan. And I loved some of these cards where they changed the orientation and made them landscape, just because, you know, you could flip through some of these so easily, and then all of a sudden you'd get one of these, a tongue-tied Tim, and it would just throw everything off. But love it. And again, during the 80s, you had people like Arnold Schwarzenegger who were characters on their own, so they're kind of tuning into what's happening right there. 80s rock. Love this. Anytime get a little nod to Godzilla and Kaiju, I'll take it. Prickly Rick, and again, you can see the artwork just beautifully done. I'm not sure the medium that they worked. In some cases, when you looked really close, it looks like gouache paint, but somebody that's better informed on paint and different styles and different mediums would be better able to answer that. But they just look amazing. And again, the landscape ones, some cinematic bad breath stuff, love that. And again, just really playing around with the Cabbage Patch Kids phenomenon. Now getting into Series 3, Joe Blow, I mean, classic bazooka gum joke there. How they used that, I'm not sure if that's the actual logo. I don't remember him having an eye patch, but maybe he did. Gotta love this. I mean, just as a kid, I remember watching Robotech, certainly when Jetfire premiered, and Transformers, and the fact that the toy at least looked like a Veritech from Robotech. So to have this, I don't know if this was a nod to Gundam or something that I wasn't aware of at the time, but I knew Robotech, so I knew Hothead Harvey, I knew Roy Bott, and that was just amazing. And again, the artwork, it just looks right. Like, you put the head on it, I get it, it's a joke, but it works so well. And then you get something like this, that's just amazing artwork. Love it. The scale, well done. at this. Just the artwork, the texture. This is probably the series where I was really paying attention and trying to get as many of these as I could, because this was about the time that, Snooty Sam, I mean, that's a classic right there. Actually, Toady Terry as well. But this is when I was able to actually start making some headway, picking up a few of these cards, and actually having a bit of a collection. Nedhead, love that. Kind of reminds me of those characters in Beetlejuice. Humongous. I mean, you gotta love these names. Armpit Brit. Oh well. And even the hair, it's kind of reminiscent of the texture, the fabric that they would use for the hair for those Cabbage Patch Kids. Done so well. Max Axe. Again, this is where I could see a parent at the time seeing one of these and thinking, what is it that I just bought for my kid? What is it that they're trading in school? Mars Attacks. I mean, look at this card. It's just beautiful. Again, looks like it could be out of any cover for like those Pulp Fiction sci-fi magazines that were out at the time. I had a ton of these cards, because that was the other thing too, is sometimes you would buy packs and you would just get a ton of duplicates. So you would just hope that the kids in your class would not have the same duplicates, so that you could use them as trade bait, try to get some of the cards that were not in your collection. I remember Spiky Mikey, love that. I think the interesting thing is that, again, while this artwork was primarily done by a small group of artists, it's consistent. You don't see variation in a lot of them, and it works because you know that you could buy a pack, and it didn't matter if it was series 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in this case that's collected here. They all feel the same way. They feel like, you're just going to get something new, something that's going to poke fun at something kind of funny, Mel Meal, Ginger Snapped, and it's going to work. You're going to get your few seconds of laughs worth, and that was great. I loved it. So I'm trying to think. I did read in 1988, Mexico actually banned the import and the export of Garbage Pail Kids. That's how bad of a reputation these cards had within parents, within culture. So while they were certainly a part of pop culture, they were not embraced by the media, by parents, because they were just looked upon as being disgusting and gross. Not so gross that they actually did make a 13-episode animated series in 1987. It was too controversial. They never aired it on CBS as they had planned, at least not in the US. So it was released in other countries. But in 2006, after all the controversy and everything had died down, it was released on DVD in 2006. And beyond these cards and beyond the cartoon, there are also some other infamous Garbage Pail Kids, including Valerie Vomit, Greaser, Greg, Alligator, Net Nerd, Messy Tessie, Foul Phil, Windy Winston, and those are all from the movie, the 1987 movie that was released. I believe Shout Factory, Scream Factory released a special edition of that movie. I saw it a long time ago. I just remember that while interesting, it didn't give me the nostalgia, the memories that the cards did. The cards were just, from a specific period of time as a kid. And if you remember them, this book just does everything that you would want it to do. And it actually has, as a little bit of a bonus, a collection of a number of exclusive cards to the set. And Abrams Comics Publishing, who actually also released the X-Men trading card collection that collects I think it was the 1991 Jim Lee X-Men trading card set, and I'll have to do a video on that one as well. They released a similar book that collects the full X-Men trading card set and has a few cards as well. So didn't skimp on this by also including a few cards into the back here, which is kind of neat. But I love the fact that they also have some of this packaging so you can see some of the merchandising, some of the marketing behind it. So if you have an opportunity, if you have any memory of the Garbage Pail Kids, I would highly recommend pick this up. Even the dust cover has the feeling of the wax packs that were, I don't know, just so synonymous with these Garbage Pail Kids. So it kind of just takes you right back to grabbing those off the counter, trying to convince your parents to buy them, maybe sneaking your allowance, going to the store and picking them up, even if your parents told you not to, because it was Garbage Pail Kids. It was hard to resist. It was amazing. And hopefully flipping through the book and checking this out brought you some good memories, because it did for me. If you grew up in the 80s like I did, you probably had a Trapper Keeper filled with Garbage Pail Kids stickers. So if you've never heard of Garbage Pail Kids, they were a parody of Cabbage Patch Dolls. So I didn't have the Cabbage Patch Dolls, but I had a ton of Garbage Pail Kids. Atom Bomb, I mean, just classics. And the fact that you would have these trading cards that were also stickers, just, I loved it as a kid. So seeing them at the show was awesome, because I saw a vendor who had sleeves of the Garbage Pail Kids trading cards, and don't get me wrong, I wanted to buy them all. So if you've never actually seen Garbage Pail Kid cards, they had the sticker on them, but each card had two variations. So you had the same picture on each sticker on each card, but you would have a different character name that was a bit of a wordplay, a humorous wordplay, like Atom Bomb or Blasted Billy, Nat Splat or Jugglin' Judd, Flamin' Raymond or Hot Toddy. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but as a kid, I love these cards, and now as an adult, I really appreciate the design. The artwork is actually unbelievable, if not a little grotesque.